Hi, I'm Rissel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. I am done with Kathy Acker's New York City in 1979. As you saw, it was quite a slick read. And on the surface, this text, don't really know if I should call it a book or not, but this text does kind of feel like it's jumping from one theme to another in regarding to abortion, sex workers, a theory of lesbianism, dealing with being sexually assaulted, how it is to grow old, and also monologues like this beautiful text I'm now reading. I am going to change one word and put in another word instead, mostly because of YouTube guidelines. Janie replies, I am not sleeping around anymore because sex is a prison. It's become a support of this post-capitalistic system like art. Businessmen who want to make money have to turn up a product that people will buy and want to keep buying. Since American consumers now own every object there is, plus they don't have any money anyway because they're being squeezed between inflation and depression, just like sleeping around, these businessmen have to discover products that obvious necessity sells. Sex is such a product. Just get rid of the puritanism, sweetheart. Your parents spoon-fed you in between materialism, which the sexual revolution did thanks to free love, and hippies' sex is terrific hook. Sexual desire is a natural fluctuating phenomena. The sex product presents a natural expanding market. Now capitalists are doing everything they can to bring world sexual desire to an unbearable edge. Brilliant. And I think this sort of shows that while it, again, feels on the top that you are sort of jumping from one thing to another, there is a very sort of straight theme in all of her writing in this book, which is sort of the balance of, can we have connectedness when we now live in a society with free sex, where sex isn't connected so much to taboos anymore? Yes, I know we are in 1979 New York City, but talking about sex without taboos anymore, where there aren't any necessarily consequences anymore because of the pill, because of abortions and women's rights. And the sort of sex is something that you enjoy. Yet does the focus on sex mean that we are losing something in regarding our interconnectedness? Or is sort of the way we view people who freely enjoy sex with sort of our more taboo views and lenses mean that we are losing the interconnectedness? So there is some sort of interesting discussions that Kathy Acker is actually making here in regarding to the connection with how do we view sex and what does that view on sex mean for the way we view and deal with relationships. Not necessarily romantic relationships, though absolutely romantic relationships as well. One of the sort of story lines throughout this text is Janie and Johnny trying to get together, and the book sort of questioning what does that mean, getting together? But also, how do how do we view people who have sex as a part of their day-to-day, and do we sort of be reminded of their humanity and the sort of human relationships that we need to have with one another, no matter what our view on sex. So, in addition to that, there's some somewhat fancy pictures. I have to admit that I think that I felt that this picture was probably the most fitting and artistic of it. But I really enjoyed the book. Again, it was a quite quick read. If you are uncomfortable with certain words when it comes to sexuality, you should probably stay away from it, because it is quite liberal with how it sort of talks about things, sort of in a way that where you are questioning, is this empowering or not? But if you are interested in sort of looking at an historical view of the connections between how we talk about sex and how we then talk about our interconnectedness, interesting, fun read into that. So that was Kathy Acker, and now I'm going to go for my next book. We need to bring out the salsa jar, and I am now just going to do the one on top, because why not? And that is book 29. And again, 29 is in my huge IKEA bag. So you need to, I apologize for the weight when I'm now going to dig into the bag to try and find the correct book. Yeah. Here is 29. I have to admit that the problem is that the longer I go through, I have the books in a sort of a cot here, where I have them sort of neatly, and then I have the bag that has most of them. And the problem, of course, is that the further I go through the project, the more muddled up it gets. So despite the fact that it was in order when I started the project, it now takes longer time, because books 8 and 9 is next to 34 and 35. That is next to 10. So it's muddled up. But this is book 29. My husband wrapped all of these, so I have no idea which books they are. And my next book for the project is World War, an Oral History of the Zombie War by Max Brooks. So we're really jumping around in this project, and I love it. I have this is it's a book that my husband bought, and based on the way it looks, it's been read. And World War Z, I've seen. I've seen someone talk about this book, but this is a book about a zombie outbreak, based on an extensive interviews with survivors and key players in the 10-year fight back against the Horde. World War Z brings the very finest traditions of American journalism to bear on what is surely the most incredible story in the history of civilization. So this is wonderful. So this is then a section of fictitious interviews with people who have survived the zombie apocalypse and how they sort of dealt with it. So that sounds like such an interesting concept to deal with telling a fictional story. So this is a fictional story. The zombies aren't real. They're not trying to get to you. And so he's talking about and so you had tanks, dude. We had everything: tanks, Bradleys, Humvees, and armed with everything from 50 cals to those new Vasilux heavy mortars. I'm still looking forward to reading this, and if you want to know my thoughts about it, you just need to come back and subscribe, so you'll know when I post the video. And thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.